But we have included 2 breaks this time in order to give you more room to meet with people and have a break from the conference talks. And keep your phones off during the talks, please. Yeah, there will be some additional, thanks. There will be some entertainment program here in the night as well. So if you want to just see a movie or something like this. Yeah, and I also mentioned it, we got the proceedings. I don't know, anybody got the book in his hand right now? No, the proceedings, the big one. That is this big black book. Contains all the papers that we received. Go and get one. There's also 2 kinds of special events that we didn't plan ourselves, the lightning talks and the open workshops. Lightning talks start every day at 4 p.m. and that's just an open thing, 9 talks, each 5 minutes. If you still have something to say, there are slots available. You can just put it into the wiki and you're done. The 3rd day, we've left open the 3rd day until today, so now registration is open for the 3rd day as well. If you have a good idea what you want to talk about, go get to the wiki and get your slot. There's also the open workshop area at the Hack Center. Same thing, there are open slots if you want to do a workshop, 1 hour, 2 hour, no problems. There's this free table space you can just use. Go ahead and be the first one in the wiki. Okay, some recommendations on how to behave. Please, no smoking inside the building. We had a huge problem with smoking last year, and we had long discussions about this. And we're just going to try it. We're not pushing this hard, but just think about it twice, go outside and have your smoke outside. I think this will be good for everybody. Yeah, even more important, take care of the building, please. This is every year we have huge costs, and I mean lots of money, many thousand euros, just because things break. People don't care about doors, they run through doors, the doors break, and it's another 500 euros. And so think twice and try to behave at least a bit, because this is what really makes this event much more expensive than it needs to be. So please think about things. Don't put stickers on it, on the walls and so on. That's really a problem. And of course, be friendly at all times and be helpful to others. That's the way how we can deal with any situations here. And in general, show what hackers can contribute. There are really lots of people coming here to the Congress who are not part of the scene, who are just interested in what we're doing. And I think we just give them the best picture we can get of what hacking is about and what the scene is about. Now I really need to look furious. Digital incidents. Oh yes, we had them, especially last year. You might have heard about it. And our reaction usually is, oh no, not again. You know. So if you are exploring and if you really think you have to do something, keep in mind that this can really be very, very nasty for us, and it can be really nasty for you as well. So if you're out there hacking, please switch on your brain before you switch on your computer. Just do it. The Congress is just not the place to explore all kinds of well, it's probably the place for exploring hacking practices, but do it on the test bed, do it on your machine, do it on any other machine that's provided by others, just to do that. But just don't, you know, just don't. It causes so much trouble for us as well. Last year we had just one day, the organization was just busy one day dealing with that. There are really other things we have to do here. And also keep in mind that we can't stop the authorities to use their authority. Yeah? They're having an eye, and we can't stop them from doing so. But just in case something is going to happen, we have opened the Hacker Ethics Hotline. So, questions like, what happens if I own that box now? Is it morally justifiable to do this or that or whatever? Yeah. If these are things that come to your mind for I don't know which reason, yeah. And if you really want to know how much trouble this can actually cause just by hitting this one key. It's just one key, yeah. And if you don't really know what the trouble is, call the hotline. They will answer, they know, and they can tell you what's the best way to deal with all this kind of information. And it's very easy to reach. It's 1042. Keep that number in mind. 24-hour service. It's free. And it's as anonymous as you want it to be. So use it, please. Thanks. So, in 4 days, everything will be over. Just a glimpse on what's coming. We're going to shut down the event on the 30th of December after the final event. The Hack Center must be completely dismantled at 10. Please take all your stuff with you. Just look around. There's so many jackets, so many things. You can't really imagine what people are leaving at this, you know. It's amazing. There's going to be some kind of lost and found service by us, but only in January. So if you lost something and you miss it, try to contact us as early as possible, because otherwise we're not really able to keep all this stuff around. We're probably going to donate it or make use of it. There's going to be an after-hour party at the sea base, which is not very far away from here. So at the last day, if you still want to stay in Berlin, if you still want to stay with us, this after-hour party is for you. So, thank you. Thank you for your interest and your support. Thanks to the speakers for the lectures. And, of course, we're also thanking everybody who's given us financial, logistical support and also hardware support, especially the networking is backed by quite a few companies that have stepped in and given us that. And thanks for everybody who's promoting this event, writing about it in weblogs and the press. This is really helpful to get the work out. And of course, thanks to you for coming and of course for coming back. And there's one more thing. We got a keynote. And we were thinking really hard about who we want to have. So many bright people outside. So we made a list of what we wanted. So we were looking for a keynote speaker that really fits our program. So made a list of qualifications that should be met. And we thought what would be cool was must be able to run a nightclub. If you've ever run a nightclub, you know, that's really hard stuff. If you can deal with a nightclub, you can deal with a lot of things. Also, you should have experience being a disc jockey, which makes you really relaxed. And, of course, university dropouts, totally preferred. And, of course, should be a really nice guy. And what should I tell you? We found one. And he got extra qualifications as well. He is chairman of Technorati, which is a weblog search engine, which you should check out if you don't know it yet. He's also chairman of Sixapart, which is a weblog hosting and software producing software, doing the movable type stuff. He's also a board member of Creative Commons International. He's a board member of ICANN. He is also a board member of the Open Source Initiative, and he's also a board member of the Mozilla Foundation. I'm really happy to welcome Joy Ito with his talk, Private Investigations, for our keynote. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you, Tim. And I was here last year, and I begged Tim to let me come back, but I didn't have any special hacker qualifications, so he gave me the keynote, I think. And actually, there was one mistake that I didn't catch, but on the slides for Technorati and Sixapart, I'm head of Japan and an investor in the United States. So I was reading the program and looking through all the things and thinking about what I was going to say today. And Tim's slide about we're furious and we're really serious is actually really important. You know, I like to try to make the talk very fun. Last year with Creative Commons, I showed funny videos and stuff like that. I warn you, it's not going to be that fun because the topic this year is actually quite serious and it's actually quite a serious time. And a lot of the talks throughout the days will have a lot of detail on a lot of the things that I talk about. And I really urge you to think about what you can do and how you can participate when you attend these talks. And if I can reach. And I know there's a back channel for IRC. I don't have a network connected here, but this is a thing that we're doing. It's an open source project called Synchro Edit. It lets you kind of in real time edit a document together. It's very, very buggy. And if you want to crash it, it's really easy. It's not a challenge. Please don't try. But basically, there's an outline of my talk and things that you can contribute to the page. And so if you have any ideas, any thoughts, any comments, please contribute to that page. I'll try to get back to you. I'll probably put it into a blog post at some time. And any thoughts on the software would be great too. So first of all, I think that I would like to start out by talking a little bit about why we're here. And one of the really important things, I don't know, I was looking at 1984 and thinking 1984, I had an X25 account and had to pay for it. I couldn't connect my modem to the phone line unless it was approved by the telephone company. I had a token ring card. You know, I had all these things that required permission to hack, that was regulated, and everything was run by big computer companies and telephone monopolies. And back then, the only search engines we had was the address book and dialog databases. Okay? So everything happened in the center of the network. Nothing happened on the edge. The network was closed. And since then, the network has become more and more open at every layer. And the places that are standing in our way right now are the big monopolies. So it's the Microsoft, some of the telephone companies still have some power, and others. But generally, the network has become more and more open. But I think that there is a huge risk that the network will get closed again. The worst case scenario that I see for this open network is that within several years, the internet will be run by the ITU, Microsoft will have a trusted network that you have to access, and the telephone companies and the cable TV networks will join together and make the internet look like a cross between telephone and cable TV. And this is a real risk. And so I also think that the open internet is probably the center of democracy in the 21st century. Because I think that the revolutions that we used to have in the past were fought with pitchforks and guns. But today, revolutions happen through information. We see this in terrorism, we see this in developing nations, and without open access and voices for information, you can't cause change in the future. And the only way to allow a bottom-up and edge-driven process is to preserve the open network. I think the open network is more important for democracy than the right to bear arms or the right to vote. That's my opinion. And by the way, this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I rewrote all my slides. Instead of saying topics, I decided to take a position. I have a passionate position on each of these issues, but I'm also very open-minded. So you can catch me in the hall or talk on my blog and try to convince me if you think something I said is wrong, because sometimes I am. So first of all, I think I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I think I'm preaching to the choir, but one thing we have to remember is that democracy is quite broken. It's broken, but like I'll talk about this with ICANN as well, it's broken, but it doesn't mean that there is something better. And I think that one of the things we have to think about is how can we change, how can we fix and deal with the current democracy. I know that Frank and Rob are going to have this session at 7 o'clock today, which is a bit more pessimistic than mine maybe, but they touch on this issue quite a bit. And I'm not going to go into the details. There's many different kinds of democracies, but I'll highlight some of the aspects of democracy that I think are very important and that we need to preserve. And I can give you some examples of why I think democracy is broken, but I won't do it right now. One of the really key things about democracy in an information society is the competition of ideas. This is the way that things get decided. And competition of ideas requires free speech. It requires the ability to say what you want to say your opinion, to question authority without fear of retribution, right? When